Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review, Kraven the Hunter.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
So, Kraven the Hunter, directed by J.C. Chandor and starring Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who quite clearly just needed some garden furniture, so decided to do this movie as opposed to reading the script and making an informed decision there. It centres around a wild hunter who, after the death of his mother, is taken along with his brother Dimitri so that he can learn the ropes and take over the drug trafficking business that their father, Nikolai, played by Russell Crowe, is in charge of. During one such hunt, he saves his brother from a lion that's killed over 2,000 people. Why the military and other civil services didn't go out hunting this lion is beyond me, because that's what tends to happen in the real world. And Sergei Kravenov, who becomes Kraven the Hunter, is fatally wounded, and whilst on the verge of death, a young girl named Calypso finds him. She gives him some kind of serum and leaves a tarot card behind, and he has superpowers. Superb. And from there, we see Kraven as he's older, going around hunting as a mercenary, taking out people, doing nefarious things and bad things, until such point that Dimitri is abducted, and it becomes basically a hunting revenge thriller. We get towards the end of the film, and of course there are multiple different bad guys at play. We get Rhino appear, and he looks, good God.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And of course, all of this seems to point towards Russell Crowe, Kraven's father, having been responsible for everything that's been going on. And the story is as wafer thin and as stupid, as pointless as that, basically. There's, like I said, there's villains here, there's cameo appearances. Chameleon makes an appearance and does absolutely nothing. But before I get into that, I'll literally say, to be fair to the film, I think there are some decent moments of action in this film. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is going hell for leather in it. Fair play to you. Well done. I'm not sure what this is going to do for your career going forward. I have a horrible feeling that Kraven might be the thing that destroys you becoming James Bond, which would be an absolute travesty. But he looks the part. He's invested. He's going through the action sequences as best he can. And yeah, the action is okay in places. The blood is clearly tacked on CGI in an effort to try and rustle up some of those monies that Deadpool and Wolverine obtained. But the difference here is that film was made to be R-rated. This film clearly isn't, and they just tacked on all this shite afterwards. And it looks rubbish. The CGI looks rubbish throughout this film. And that is the least of the issues with this film. Aside from the action and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, there is not much else here to really take home and enjoy in memoriam. It's dreadfully written, absolutely appallingly written. The editing is even worse. This film features some of the worst ADR I have ever seen in a Hollywood movie. How they can do that is beyond me, and I think it's quite clear, the ADR, the editing, that this film went through so many reshoots, so many delays, so many rewrites, that they had no idea what the fuck they were saying at any given moment, so they just spouted in some nonsense. They possibly AI wrote this movie from back to front to try and fill in the gaps that clearly came in when they realised how dreadful this film was playing. There is a moment where I believe it's Calypso is talking about how her mother or grandmother died and then she never saw her again.
Are you serious?
What? Well, yeah, of course, because that's typically what happens when somebody dies. You don't see them again unless you stuff them and put them on parade in your cellar. What are you on about? What is this dialogue? And the dialogue gets even worse from there. It's consistently all over the place. There are many moments in this film where characters are talking to each other, and the next sentence has no bearing on what's just been said. It's absolutely baffling, and it has the unnerving quality of completely lifting you out of the proceedings. You're watching something, and just as you start to feel some semblance of, okay, that's interesting, somebody waffles some other shite, and you're like, oh, okay, and then the CGI compounds upon it. There are some interesting moments here where Kraven utilises the animal abilities, which are interesting, and yet it all looks terrible. Rhino, good God, I love Rhino as a character, this big, hulking monstrosity of a person. I remember from the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. He looks great, he's a great, interesting character. Here, it looks fucking dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. I mean, I would have preferred if they got Paul Giamatti back as Rhino in that big fucking mech suit, as opposed to this piece of shit. Because there's no size, there's no grandiosity to him. It's just a guy in a fucking fat suit, and it looks dreadful. But it's not even that. It's all CGI, so it's even friggin' worse. Good grief, what a waste of time. And like I said, Chameleon makes a couple of appearances here, and he does nothing of note. There's a character called the Foreigner here. He's alright, it's just bloody Hitman from the Hitman games at this point, doing bugger all. Nothing is interesting, nothing is clever. The action tries to cover up every major hole and an issue that this film has. I mean, Russell Crowe, again, for his part, is okay, but at this point, he's just cashing in the checks, I think, and it's a shame. There are some decent moments from him, but nothing that really stands out and makes you go, wow, that's an interesting side plot, that's an interesting twist, I didn't see that coming. No, you see everything friggin' coming, and it's a pointless endeavour. The only saving grace for this film, I have to say, is that it's not as bad as Madam Web or Morbius for me, but that bar is so low. It's as low as the mysterious pile of ancient dog shit that I found in my garden hidden behind a tree when that was obviously placed there before our dog left this mortal plane of existence. And finding that ancient almost stone-like piece of shit in the garden gave me, a sense of joy and happiness, because I found something that was, entertaining and clever. I thought of my old dog. I thought of the fact that he probably did this on purpose. Here, there is no such joy in this film. It is just a stinking pile of shit that somebody has dumped in your living room and expects you to enjoy it. Well, no, I'm sorry, I can't enjoy it. Solid performances from Aaron Taylor-Johnson, some decent action, some windy comedic moments aside, everything looks rushed, everything looks flippant, everything looks fake and without nuance. And considering this film was delayed and reshot and rewritten, that is a crime against humanity. Yeah. It's goofy beyond measure, and not in a good way. But like I said, it's not as bad as Madam Web or as bad as Morbius, but then it's no better than the Venom films, and they're not great either. This is a sad franchise, this Sony Spider-Man universe spin-off, non-Spider-Man, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's sad, boring dialogue, it's boring characterization, it's lackluster production values, lackluster writing. If this film was indeed written by a human, then they are the single most idiotic, stupid person that could ever be in existence. And I realise I've just said lines and words there that didn't make any friggin' sense, but that's what this film has done to me. I don't know what to say of any consequence or any note. I am literally waffling. And that's what this film is as well. It's a waffling mess that's you can't help but wonder, oh, where's Spider-Man? And that's all we've done with all of these films from the Sony Spider-Man spin-off universe, is wonder where Spider-Man is and wished we could have got something better. There is nothing greater, and we got it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game. There would be nothing greater than to see Kraven the Hunter go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, the greatest hunter versus the greatest superhero. But no, we're left with this dribbling wreck that is no more than the constant dribble that I'm getting from my nose due to consistent frigging colds and flu. Waste. An absolute waste of my time, a waste of energy, a waste of money. Spider-Man of Spider-Man the Secret Wars podcast informed me very reliably that all of these films have cost over $500 million to make across all 6, if not more, and that's not including advertisement. What a waste of dollar! What a waste of time and effort! A waste of performers like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who would have been great going up against Spider-Man, but no, we'll never get that. Let them die. There is the rumour going around that they have cancelled this universe, but nothing's been concretely said as far as I'm aware. It seems to be all somebody said this and Sony are saying that, but just let it die. It's done. Nobody cares, as quite clearly by the box office so far for this movie. It is a flop. An absolute flop. So there. Let's let it go. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. We're in a bit of a quiet period. I've not been too well, as I alluded to, so that's why things are a little bit slow at the moment, but we will see what the next few weeks bring in the new year. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate every one of you that have subscribed this year. It's been an interesting year, 2024, for a great many reasons, both with this and personally, but we'll see what comes in the new year. So, like I said, please do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this review. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye bye.